Hey! Do you have trouble concentrating while playing video games? Well, then you might have ADHD and you should probably go get some help. But, if not, then you might fall victim to the flow state. The flow state's not a bad thing, it's just another term for being focused. The man behind the concept of the flow state is a man by the name of Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. This guy. In 1975, he noticed how a lot of artists would get so caught up in their work they would disregard their need for food, water, and sleep. It's kind of like the people that died playing World of Warcraft in the internet cafes. Through their research, psychologists found that human minds can only absorb 110 bits of information per second. This sounds like a lot, but decoding speech takes 60 bits of information per second. Makes it hard to focus on something while having a conversation. When someone is in a state of flow, they are completely engrossed in the task that they're doing and lose awareness of everything else they may feel or be thinking. Mihaly used the electroencephalogram, I don't know what that is, to measure brain waves of people during chess and found that more skilled players had less activity in the front of their brain. However, this is a vital area for decision making and thinking, which is due to the default mode network that becomes active when you're not focused on the outside world. And no, this does not count as the outside world within a video game.
You look like trouble.
It becomes less active when you're focused on something specific within your environment. When it is active, your mind wanders. A research team at Yale discovered the default mode network has less activity when you meditate frequently. When you meditate, two specific structures in your brain are active: the hippocampus and the frontal lobe, which are most active in memory storage and recall. A team at Harvard found that due to meditating, they were able to increase their memory storage center after the thickness of the hippocampus increased. The reason behind the flow state is that it helps you to stay focused in whatever you're doing. Athletes and esports athletes use it in really big tournaments with big prize pools, and they have to cut all the noise out of the crowded audience and just purely focus on their game because the stakes are so high that if they mess up, they could lose a lot of money. When playing a team game where everyone is playing a certain role to achieve a common goal, such as League of Legends, Overwatch, or Call of Duty, it can produce more trust, unity, and skill development between members of that team. So when you enter the flow state, time might go by very quickly. You might be in a really intense game of Warzone or Overwatch, and a half hour has passed when it feels like it's only been 10 minutes. You're going to have improved focus and concentration on the task at hand. You won't notice distractions or the people around you. Finally, you may also begin to feel tired of pains in places you didn't even feel before. Since you're devoting all that energy into the task, your eyes also might hurt a lot. But don't worry, there are some benefits to the flow state. First one is you'll be able to focus on what you're doing without any distractions. You won't have to think about what you're doing and subconsciously do it. Actually, when you do try and think about what you're trying to do, it often leads to mistakes. You might forget about all the other stresses and worries in your life at that moment when you're in this state. And finally, being in the moment, you're hopefully doing something you're passionate about and enjoying, which will increase your happiness and your serotonin levels, which we know everyone pretty much needs right now. Staying hydrated also helps you concentrate more since your brain is, kind of made of water. You kind of need it. It's kind of important. Finally, creating a mental cue you do before going into the flow state. We're trying to go into the flow state. Something that you know when you do it, it's time to focus and get in the zone. That can be a song, that can be, click a pencil, I don't care. So you may be wondering, hey Peter, how do I reach the flow state? That was a terrible voice. So the first thing you want to do is do something that you love. This can be, playing video games or going golfing or just really anything you like doing that helps you relax. Having a schedule you follow before this activity, like, waking up in the morning, you eat breakfast and then you work out and then doing this, that might help. Choosing an important task to work on, it's important that you only have one task, because if you have more than one, you might not be able to enter the flow state because you're not focused on one thing. Finding a time where you're at your peak of activity throughout the day, which is usually in the morning, depending on your internal clock, because that's when you're less groggy, would help a lot. It also is important to eliminate all possible distractions around you, internal and external. Research has shown that flow state can be one of the most productive and happiest states we can be in. So, if you figure out how to get into the flow state, which again, it is 10 to 15 minutes of constant stimulation and challenge with no distractions, you might just be able to get there. But we'll see. You never know. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I like psychology, so I do psychology videos that mostly relate to video games. Check out my intro channel trailer thing that explains a little bit about me. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.